Summary crew members faced challenges and difficult decisions in the latest Below Deck episode. Captain Carey fired Jared for repeated mistakes and unprofessional behavior. Kat's emotional struggles and conflicts with crew led her to leave the Saint. David. Below Deck Season 11 lost two of its essential crew members in the most recent episode, but who were they and how did they leave the Saint? David behind? Throughout Below Deck Season 11, the cast has been working together to do their best aboard the Saint. David. Under the watchful eye of Captain Carey Titherage, the crew has been doing a decent job, aside from some of the issues they've faced from a few of the weaker members. Early on, there were two weak links identified in the crew, and they've both been struggling throughout the busy charter season. After the first several charter guests of the season took a toll on the crew of the Saint. David. Captain Carey had to make some difficult decisions about the staff he was working with. Below Deck Season 11's cast have all had their difficulties on the super yacht, but there have been a few crew members who have been dealt harder hands aboard the ship. While Jared Woodin, Kat Baugh, Barbie Pasquale, and Ben Willoughby have all had struggles that have been brought up to the captain, only two wound up leaving the Saint. David in the most recent episode. Related 20 Best Reality TV Shows Right Now television is being impacted by the ongoing entertainment industry strikes, leaving many turning to reality TV. What are the best shows right now? Captain Carey was having trouble with Jared's performance. He made too many mistakes throughout Below Deck Season 11. Captain Carey has struggled with Jared's performance as bosun on the Saint. David. Jared came to the crew with yachting experience and shared that being a bosun was below his current level, but he was looking forward to working aboard a superyacht. Jared shared early on during his time aboard the vessel that he's had yachting experience, but things haven't been lining up with his day-to-day responsibilities. For Jared, making a few mistakes didn't seem like that big of an issue, but Captain Carey was noticing repeated issues that have had him questioning Jared's abilities. During the initial charter, Jared had several issues with getting the timing of the docking correctly for both the inbound and outbound trips. While he was able to get everything done safely, Captain Carey took issue with how much of a close call it was for Jared. Though he was doing his best, Captain Carey kept him on watch and explained that though he was going to give him chances to improve, there were some things he wouldn't allow from the bosun on his crew. Repeated mistakes that could inherently be dangerous were one of them. Jared's drunken antics were Captain Carey's last straw. He asked Kyle and Barbie for their input. Jared's time aboard the Saint. David hasn't been without drama, and in the last episode of Below Deck Season 11, he has a serious shakeup with Kyle Stilley and Barbie Pasquale after the crew's night out left everyone drunk. Jared, who has already proven he has a bit of a temper when he's drinking, was upset that Kyle left some of his tobacco on the deck of the ship. Finding Kyle and Barbie in her bunk, Jared accosted both of them, getting loud and waking the captain. Captain Carey gave Jared and Kyle a warning, but when Jared didn't adhere, it became clear that he needed to be spoken to. The next morning, Captain Carey called both Kyle and Barbie into his quarters to discuss what had happened. He wanted their sides of the story first before he took any action, and while both of them shared they hadn't felt uncomfortable about Jared's behavior, they were both unhappy with the way he'd acted towards them. The captain took Jared's performance and the crew's issues into consideration when making his decision on what would happen moving forward. Captain Carey fired Jared Wooden. The bosun seemed ready to leave close. Captain Carey chose to let Jared go from the crew of the Saint. David, explaining that he understood Jared's head wasn't on the superyacht. Disappointed, Jared didn't actually seem upset about the idea that he'd be leaving the Saint. David. Throughout the season, it's been apparent that Jared has been having issues contacting his daughter, who lives in Alaska, with the connection that's available out on open waters. While Jared wasn't happy about getting fired, he was happy to be able to speak to his daughter more comfortably. He left the crew behind, understanding what had happened was mostly avoidable. Kat Baugh has been struggling on the Saint. David. Her emotions have been keeping her on edge throughout Below Deck Season 11. Kat's emotional state has been difficult to watch as it's deteriorated. Kat, who joined the St. David's crew with some private charter experience, has been struggling to work alongside seasoned stews in the environment the superyacht provides. Kat is used to smaller vessels where she has more control over what she was doing, but working in such a specific team who have routines was tricky for her. Though Kat was trying to make it work on the St. David, she continually found pushback from within, and from with her fellow crewmates. The drama Kat has been dealing with on the team has been tricky, but shouldn't have been overly difficult for her to handle. For Kat, the difficulties she's been facing come primarily from Barbie, who has struggled to work comfortably with Kat. The pair have very different working styles, but on top of that, both are looking for control over their work, which means the other has to sacrifice theirs. From early on, the pair didn't have a good rapport, and though things have been somewhat better, the ripple effects of dealing with the drama have been hitting Kat hard. Kat's friend had a crisis at home. The stew was overwhelmed, unable to work. During the last episode of Below Deck Season 11, Kat received a call from home that made things even more difficult for her on the Saint. David. Though she didn't feel comfortable disclosing the nature of the issue, Kat shared that one of her close friends had an issue at home that she felt emotionally attached to. Explaining that because of her upbringing, which involved some drama surrounding foster care and her birth sibling, she had chosen her family and felt compelled to support them whenever they needed it. Kat got a call from a close friend from home that left her emotionally drained. On top of dealing with her crisis back home, Kat hadn't been building strong relationships with the rest of the crew on the Saint. David. Explaining that she wasn't comfortable with the rest of the crew to her friend on the phone, Kat has been deeply emotional about the fact that she doesn't feel she fits in. With everything seemingly working against her, Kat made the difficult decision to leave the crew and head back home. Kat chose to leave the St. David. Captain Carey was understanding. Close Kat, who was found crying in her bunk, explained that she needed to leave to put her mental health first. Unable to stop crying, Fraser told her that he understood and went to get Captain Carey. The captain, who has a high priority on the crew's mental health, explained that he was sad to see Kat go, but he understood she needed to take time to take care of herself and the people she loves. While the crew genuinely seemed sad to see Kat go, the Below Deck Season 11 crew understood that she needed to take care of herself. Below Deck airs Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time on Bravo, then streams the following day on Peacock. Below Deck is a popular reality TV franchise that focuses on a group of crew members as they work on luxurious yachts and cater to their clients' needs. After the original series proved to be a success, Bravo developed a handful of spin-off shows including Below Deck Selling Yacht, Below Deck Adventure, Below Deck Down Under, and Below Deck Mediterranean.